Okay, here we go. We have another 45, 45, 90 problem for number 8. Remember our 45, 45, 90 triangle. If we look here, I have x, x, and x root 2. So I'm going to label those sides. I have x, x, and x root 2. So 4 root 2 is my x side. Remember, in a 45, 45, 90, no matter what, these two sides are going to be the same. So m is 4 root 2. It's the exact same. The legs are always congruent. N is a little bit different. N is x root 2. Well, my x value is 4 root 2, and then I multiply that by root 2. I'm going to show the work on how to get to the final answer. Some of you may be able to do this part in your head, and that's totally fine. And if not, that's also totally fine. So I have root 2 times root 2, which gives me root 4. The square root of 4 is 2. So it's 4 times 2. So n equals 8. Similar idea here in number 9. Okay, in a 30, 60, 90, I have x root 3, and 2x. My m is x root 3. Well, the x in this problem is 5 root 3. So similar idea, I do 5 root 3 times root 3, which is 5 times the square root of 9, which is 5 times 3, which is 15. So I'll highlight that part again. Root 3 times root 3 gives me root 9. Root 9 is 3. So m is 15. N is a little bit quicker. It's 2 times 5 root 3. Remember, I cannot multiply a number like 2 that's not inside a radical, so I can only multiply 2 to the 5, which gives me 10 root 3. All right, number 10 is a little bit more challenging. I have another 30, 60, 90 triangle, okay, where I have this side is my x, this is my x root 3, and this is the 2x. So x root 3 is 9. So x root 3 is 9. Well, I have to figure out, all right, what do I multiply to 9 to get x root 3? Well, let's solve. Let's try to figure that out. So I set x root 3 equal to 9. To figure that out, I can divide both sides by root 3 here, since it's x times root 3. So x equals 9 over root 3. I don't want the radical in the denominator, so I rationalize. So it's 9 root 3 over 3. Remember, root 3 times root 3 is root 9. Root 9, the square root of 9 is 3. So x equals 3 root 3. I'll write that over here. So n equals 3 root 3, since that's my x side. M is 2 times 3 root 3. So m equals 6 root 3. All right. There we go. Let's try number 11. 11 and 12, we need to solve the right triangle, which means we need to find all the missing sides and all the missing angles. So, all right, with that in mind, I have this angle B is 69 degrees. So I'm going to use that as my reference angle here. Call that my opposite side. This is my hypotenuse, and the 14 is my adjacent. To find side B, I'm going to use the opposite and the adjacent. Opposite and adjacent is tangent, so I'm going to take the tangent of my angle, which is 69 degrees, equals B over 14. And this is just algebra from here. Remember, tangent of 69 is an actual number, all right? It's an operation. tangent, cosine, sine, they all perform operations on numbers. So I multiply both sides by 14. And that is what I plug into my calculator right here. I'll show you 14 times the tangent of 69. That's exactly what you plug into your calculator, and you end up getting 36.47. C, to find C, I can do two ways. I can use the Pythagorean theorem, since I know what B is now. I could say, all right, 14 squared plus 36.47 squared equals C squared. You could do that. Or I could use trig. And I would use the hypotenuse and the adjacent, which would give me a cosine. So I would say, all right, cosine of 69 equals 14 over C. And since our variable, our unknown, is in the denominator, it's going to take a little bit more work. So I multiply both sides by the cosine, or by C. I get C times cosine of 69 equals 14. And then divide both sides by the cosine of 69. And that's what you plug in your calculator. 14 divided by cosine of 69. And you should get something like 39.07. Now, if you did the Pythagorean theorem, you would get something similar. It may not be exactly 39.07, but it'll be around there. It'll be 39 point something, okay? We won't take off. As long as you show your work, we're not going to take off credit for that. To find angle A, I don't have to use trig at all. I just need to recognize that, hey, I have two angles in my right triangle. So I would just subtract 90 and 69 from 180 to get 21 degrees. Make your life as easy as possible there for A. All right, in number 11, I try to find two sides, okay? In number 12, I want to find two angles. So I'm going to choose to find B first, since that's where the question mark is, and that's the first angle that comes up. So here we go. That's my opposite, that's my adjacent, and this is my hypotenuse. So to find angle B, I'm looking at 9 and 25. So I'm going to say O over A, so tangent of B equals 9 over 25. So B equals the tangent inverse of 9 divided by 25. Which gives you an answer of 19.80 degrees. Now, I could use trig again to find angle A, or I could just use what I know about triangles and say A is 180 minus 90 minus 19.8, which gives you 70.20 degrees. To find side C, okay, I can do this two ways. All right, I can use two different methods here. I can use trig, which I'm sure a lot of us will do, or I could use the Pythagorean theorem. I could say, all right, 9 squared plus 25 squared equals C squared. To find C, I'm going to use the Pythagorean theorem here, just because I like it, because it's fun, and I'm going to use O and H. I like sine, so I'm going to use O and H, so that's going to be sine. You could also use cosine of 19.8 equals 9 over C. Multiply both sides by C. C times the sine of 19.8 equals 9. Divide by sine of 19.8. Divide by the sine of 19.8. So that's what I'll plug into my calculator. 9 divided by the sine of 19.8. And you should get something like 26.57. Okay? Roughly. And if you did the Pythagorean theorem, you would get something around there as well. All right, I'm going to pause there, pick up with the next page.